What can you tell us about availability for this week?
Availability. So Nathan Byrne has had his operation, so he's out. Jelani Forbes, he's out still. Brandon Cambridge is out. Pep BL is likely to be out, but we're waiting as long as we can because the hamstring strain or the scan that we had is not symptomatic to where he feels the pain, so which is a real positive. So we don't know whether he'll be able to train tomorrow or not. If not, then I'm guessing he will definitely be available for next week.
Next week, is it Tuesday or Saturday?
I will have to tell you after tomorrow, unfortunately, yeah.
Edon came out of, because I know he went down with like shoulder, I guess.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah, he pulled out a little bit today. He had a bit of a hip flexor problem, but he should be okay to train again tomorrow.
Nate being out, they said several months. How difficult was that decision? And I guess, do you have any kind of further indication of whether he'll be back this season, or how do you feel? Yeah,
no, we'll definitely be back this season, but it was the right decision to make. He had 2 replacement discs put in. He was getting pins and needles in his arm, so for his health, we had to get that done. And he's getting better. I've been to see him already. I think he was milking it coming out in a wheelchair, but the scar's not massive. I think I've had bigger shaving cuts, but apart from that, he's okay. No, he's all right.
If Pep cannot go, what are the variety of options? Do you stick with the same shape? Do you change the shape? How do you go about thinking that? Because that's obviously a big loss.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't change the shape. I think our shape is giving us stability. It's giving us some continuity. Players understand what we're after with and without the ball, and I think we're improving every game at the moment.
Is it as simple as moving Brandt up, playing Gianni or playing Eric, or is there a non-conventional option like a Kerwin or a Wilf that you consider?
It's as simple as one of the first ones you mentioned.
I can live in that. In terms of Columbus, what makes them so dangerous?
They're really good with the football. They have really good rotation, how they play. They're very well coached. We had 2 really good games against them last season and looking forward to playing them again. I think they've only got the 1 defeat this season, which is where they ceded home advantage, I think. Didn't they move to another stadium to play?
Played in Cleveland.
Yeah, which probably with the result, I'll look back and think it was maybe the wrong decision rather than just play on their home stadium, which I think they're very good at. But they chose to do that. But we're looking forward to the game because it's going to be a great challenge for us, and we feel we're in a great spot in terms of how we're playing at the moment.
Did you submit anything to the league? And if so, how would you characterize your feedback in terms of plays you maybe didn't agree with from last week?
Do what, sorry?
Did you submit any plays to the league for review or anything of that nature?
No. Waste of time, so no, didn't bother.
Good.
With Nathan out, and obviously you've got to find guys to fill that role, and Will was talking about shape. Your depth is something you've been very happy with this year. How does that really get tested now, considering the next 4 are going to be played away from?
It's getting tested. Obviously, you don't expect to have 5 or 6 players out. I forgot to mention Jaquil. We're hoping to get his clearance through. It's something else that baffles me slightly, the fact that a player can already be in a squad for 9 games this season in this league and yet can't get registered to play yet. So we're battling away with immigration and the league to try and get him cleared so he can be available for us on Saturday.
In terms of the shape that Will was talking about, your system that you have in place, is that what you mean by you don't change the shape?
No, yeah, we won't change the system. We're happy with the system. It's given us consistency in terms of performance at the moment, and we're happy with that.
And given the stretch of games with 3 MLS matches plus the Open Cup, you say you want to win trophies, you want to win things. How does the lineup in your eyes, in your brain, kind of take shape as you go through this next 4
That'll go game from game, and that's all I can do. We'll have to manage the squad, obviously, and that'll go from game to game. How I see what we're going into against Columbus on Saturday might not be how I see how we go into the game on Tuesday, against North Carolina. But I've not even thought about North Carolina yet.
Steve. Following up on what he said, like with the depth and stuff, with Nick, in his second game, how do you grade that compared to his first one?
I thought he had a good game again. Yeah, I thought he was steady, didn't make many mistakes. The lad got inside him, or got round the side of him early in the first half, but was shooting from a really wide angle. But yeah, I thought he had a good game again.
It seems he got advanced even more so aggressively and stuff. And in that position in the scheme that you're running, it seems to be a critical part of it is getting up on the wing there and adding numbers there.
Yeah, it's an important position, because against a lot of teams that play 5-2-3, and these will be another one. You can build up 2v1s down the outside, so it's really important that we've got fullbacks that can do that.
And he looked very confident.
He looks calm. He looks like he's played a lot of games, and he's 23, 24. So he's been with us a long time. He knows how I work and how I want that position to work, and he's done it really well so far.
Any other squad players moving up, in the hierarchy that you're seeing, can see get more playing time?
No, we've got Petkovic back on the pitch training with us now, so he was in the squad last week, he'll be in the squad again tomorrow. So we've got Tavares, we've got Tiger Smalls as well, Toklamati, all pushing for places at the moment.
And Suleiman's good to go on the left?
No, Suleiman's still injured, so he's another one who I think he's going to start jogging this week.
Okay.
But he had a grade 2 hamstring injury, so he wasn't going to be back anytime soon.
Okay, thanks.
No worries.
Cheryl?
After looking back at the film from last week's game, do you still have kind of the same impressions as you did right after the game?
In terms of the performance?
Everything, but performance?
Our performance was good. I come back and you look back, you reflect on the game, you review the game, and I believe I'm probably much the happier coach, but without 3 points. The only thing that was missing was the 3 points, because our performance was so good. What we didn't do was take the chances that we made, but if we play like that on a regular basis, you win more games. If you're going through a game and you're only having two or three shots, then you're not going to win games on a regular basis. So I felt that was our best performance this season.
As a reporter, I'd never want to take away your spirit, but did you have any regrets about some of the comments post-game?
No regrets. I'm accountable to one person, and that's my wife. She's my biggest critic, and I went back and asked her to watch my interview after the game to see if it was okay and whether I'd gone over the top, and she said no, I hadn't gone over the top, so that was okay with me. She's a bit upset now though, because we won't be able to afford to bring our daughter over on the plane, but but listen, the league have got in touch with me and obviously issued a fine. I'm not sure, I didn't know what their policies were, and I still don't understand how the fine has come about. So we've discussed it, and we've discussed it at length and well, but I still feel I have a right of reply, a right of appeal. So I'm looking at legal options at the moment, but I understand why the league have issued it in terms of public criticism, but there's still a few things to go with that at the moment.
Appeal of the fine or appeal of a goal call or something?
No, I've been sanctioned after the game, so I believe after any sanction that you're allowed a right of appeal.
Has your wife ever fined you?
No, my wife's never fined me, no.
Mr. Tepper doesn't pony up for these things when it's for the spirit of the team?
It's what, sorry?
Does Mr. Tepper not pony up for such things?
No, and he shouldn't. I'm old enough and responsible enough to know that if I've made a mistake and I have to pay, for it, then I'll do so, and not a problem. But I want to be able to understand how they come to a certain amount of money and how they come to that decision. So, you know, as I say, I will take legal advice on that first because I don't know American law as well as I know British law.
It seemed like that was the thing that was upsetting you the most was maybe the rules,
Yeah, listen, I've been told you'll probably get a lot less answers from me after games now, because now understanding how the league view public criticism, I think you have to be a lot more guarded in terms of what you say in these press conferences.
Had you been warned at all before? Because you've been dismissive of the officiating in previous games, not to this extent, perhaps.
No, I've been sent off once in my career against Manchester City away because I thought a law was wrong, and they changed the law 2 days later. You know, other than that, all the games that I've managed, I haven't been, and I've not been in trouble through any press conferences.
That's what I was referring to.
So no, I think I like to be fair. I like to be honest. You know, and that's the way I am, and that's the way I was brought up.
We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Mm.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Dean, it's still so early, but obviously a player of Wilf's caliber comes in here with so many, people just start immediately piling on expectations externally outside of the building. How would you kind of assess his season so far, and what have you seen as he's tried to adjust to a lot of different things, both on and off the pitch here?
He probably didn't do himself any favours by scoring in his first game, because all of a sudden everybody's expectations go up that he should be scoring every game. But I'm happy with his performance last week. Was his best performance yet for us. I'm still having a debate with him. I thought he should have hit his chance first time. You know, but he felt that the ball wasn't quite right to hit it. He set up Liel for a really good opportunity. He's had one on target that got deflected wide. I thought his overall play was good. He got fouled an awful lot, but he kept the ball an awful lot. So I was happy with his performance last week. And you know, you have to deal with expectations. You're a human being, and you're also fallible as well. But I'm happy with where he is at the moment.
Yeah, just to go off of that with Zaha, I agree with you on his match against, was it New England?
Yeah.
I guess, what is the balance for you in terms of like what he sees and what he wants to create, but also the balance of what you want him to operate in your system at this point?
He understands what I'm after, you know, and he's trying to. I think his work rate is getting better, his fitness is getting better, and his quality is getting better. And you know, there'll be people out there who will be saying, "Oh, he's not doing this, he's not doing that." I totally disagree with them, and I work with him day in, day out, see the work that he does, see how he gets on well with his teammates, you know, and outside of our dressing room, no problems.
Yeah.
Inside of our dressing rooms, no problems whatsoever.
With his fitness level, like what would you say percentage-wise he's at?
I think he's right up there now. Yeah, I think he's right up there. You know, he hasn't played for a year, so we knew that it was going to take a while to get going, and you know, I think we're getting to see what he can and will do.
Whether Pep plays or doesn't play, depending on his availability, is now that this happened, are you looking to add depth in that 10 role specifically in case, you know, he might struggle with injury as the season progresses?
Well, we can't now.
Right.
Yeah, we can't until the summer window. But we're always looking how we can strengthen. So, you know, it gives the recruitment team now a time to actually go and get some players that we'll look at.
Yeah. Left turn, but we just talked with Scardina about his progression and his time at Legacy, and I'm curious what your relationship is with Legacy in terms of how they play, so that the players in Legacy are fit to when they come to the first team. It's a very similar look and the system they're used to. Is that important to you?
It's not the most important what system they play. What is important is the style. So if they lose the ball, they try and win it back quickly. When they win the ball, they're looking to try and score quickly. If not, they stay on the ball. And that's our style of play that, you know, will run throughout the club. Gary's doing a great job in terms of coaching them to make sure they're used to coming into a team that can adapt to different systems. And I think that's the important part, because Legacy is a development team that's developing players, so they've got to be developed in different ways.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
I know after Leagues Cup last year, I gather you prefer to have more games than normal than fewer. So with that in mind, these next 6 weeks, I mean, it's a tough time, I guess, with all the injuries, but is it better than the alternative of one long stretch?
Yeah, no, listen, the injuries is what it is. That can happen at any club, and you have to get on with it. You're not going to hear me, moaning about injuries. It's part and parcel of the game. Players know that, and as a head coach, I know that. Our job is to get the best out of the players who come in, and that's why it's been really important to make sure that whoever comes in is ready. So, the work we do after the game, when players haven't played, it's really important that we're putting on good sessions for them so they can be available to come in, whenever they're needed.
And about Jaquil, I guess as a young guy in Canada, he was kind of a bright star. Got some training with Arsenal, Liverpool. Does he still have kind of that same trajectory? I mean, is he?
From what I've seen so far, what a great kid. Great attitude to the game. Settled into the dressing room straight away. And he's showing some really good skills. So he will be a good addition to the squad. Yeah.
Sam?
So, Coach, I wanted to clarify a statement you said earlier. The official statement from the club said Nathan Burke would be out for several months, and then just now you said he'll be out this season. Did you mean for the whole season?
No, I didn't say be out for the season. Sorry.
You
said he'll be back.
for the season.
I'll be back. He'll be back this season. Sorry. Yeah, he'll be back this season. Yeah.
Okay.
Can I ask why the Forest top?
I'm hoping to get him into the Champions League.
Okay.
But my next question was about across the pond. A couple of your old teams are in the playoffs. The Sadlers are fighting for automatic promotion. Orient's fighting to stay in the League One playoffs. How much do you keep track of the clubs that you used to play for or manage?
Yeah, no, keep track of all of them, to be fair. So, I'm wishing Matt Sadler well. I think they've got Crewe Alexandra away the weekend. They can still automatically go up if they win that game. And Orient have had a fantastic season. And my mate Martin Ling, who I was assistant to at Orient, he's still the sporting director there. So it'd be great for them if they make the playoffs.
Side bet with Westy on the Crewe fixture?
Yeah, it would be nice to have a side bet with Westy, wasn't it? Yeah.
All right, well, we'll keep beating to it. But my next question is about Westy. So did you talk to him? Because obviously he got the fine as well.
He got what, sorry?
He got fined as well this week.
Oh, yeah, I believe he did, yeah. He's got more money than me, so he can pay that.
So
He's a bit tighter.
Whenever y'all get those fines, it's a mystery to all of us because the league never discloses it. Does the league tell you you can't tell us what the fine was?
No, but I suppose they do that for a reason. So I'm not gonna tell anyone in case I've done something wrong that I don't know about. So, bedside reading at the moment is the rules and policies of the MLS.
And then finally, I have a fun one for you. There is a man who's become semi-famous, some would say infamous in the city of Charlotte, named Sam Bethia. And he is best known for going around to large events, waving signs and yelling the slogan, Jesus saves. Somebody around Charlotte has started putting up signs that say, Kalina saves. And wanted to know if you had talked to your goalkeeper about him being compared to the Son of God.
I can't talk about that. Listen, we're in the Bible Belt here, whatever I say can be misconstrued in some way, so I think I'll leave that.
I'm impressed you know what the Bible Belt is.
Yeah. I've been here a while.
Yeah,
We'll wrap up with Willie P. Zaha and Pat have been two of the more fouled players in the league, yet your team is in the bottom half of fouls sustained. Is that something you find peculiar, interesting, or maybe even somewhat interesting from that perspective?
I don't know. I think probably a metric that we should probably look at is how many cautions have been given for all them fouls against Patrick and and
I don't
Wilf.
have that handy, but I,
No, it'd be a nice one to look at, a nice metric to look at.
sorry.
I thought he was trying to get you in more hot water there. Back,
Not my wallet.
I've had my bath, I'm all right.
staying on
Bath.
staying on Wilf. To Nick's point, the expectations are there. Wilf's not a 22-year-old guy. He's a veteran of this game. Do you find yourself talking to him to keep him up, keep him positive, or is he just drawing on his experiences and being himself to try, he's he's playing well according to you. He's not in a slump.
No,
it's
he's a 32-year-old man. He'll have his own ways. He'll have his own coping mechanisms that he's learnt throughout his career. Because any footballer that's played at the level he has will have had highs and lows. So he'll know how to deal with that. I give him words of advice. I did tell him that my most disappointing thing is if he's reading social media, because I'd say don't. But.
Evidently he does.
Sorry?
Evidently in his response to social media, he has been reading it.
Okay.
As far as the critiques of himself, it seems surprising that he did respond as he did.
I don't know the response, so I don't. But seeing him in training this week, he's not dampened his enthusiasm for the game, for the club, and how he's trained. And so we talk about the team a lot. We talk about how to improve the team, how he can help improve the team. But again, he's a human being like all of us, and susceptible to getting some stick. But this is so far been a successful season, and we believe that will carry on.
and with a guy like him, is it just one of those things where keep doing what you're doing, and the goals and the productivity will come?
I don't know what anybody is saying about him and his productivity at the moment.
It's in terms of actual goals and goals, assists.
He brings so much more than
Right,
that.
no, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
he has lifted the squad. He has lifted the standard of what the squad are playing. By his demands, by how he trains and how he plays, and he's helped the squad. So, people outside of here can say what they want. I don't care. I know the player that we've got. I know what the player that he will be, and maybe people who don't see him as much as what we do here can judge him for the little glimpses they get of him.
One thing I've noticed too is like his vocal leadership, and maybe I don't see that necessarily from other numbers on your pitch. Do you feel like that's like one of those ads he's brought?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, he's a vocal player, and he's I suppose I've always said I don't like the DP tag.
Sure.
I don't think it helps anybody. But he's taken on that DP tag, and he's taken it on with aplomb so far.
And you feel like that vocal leadership is like necessary for a DP?
I don't think it's necessary. It depends on your character.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
It depends on your character, yeah. And his character is that he wears his heart on his sleeve. So, if he needs to unload, he's right to unload. But he also has to temper it and know who he's talking to when he does it. Yeah. So, and that's him getting to know the players as well.
Yeah.
Well, that communication goes both ways. Do you feel that the squad is receptive of
To-
what
yeah.
he says in a
Yeah.
constructive way?
Yeah, definitely.
Is Nathan going to stay here for his recovery, or will he go home a little bit and then come back, or do you know what his plan is?
Go home where to?
England.
No, this is his home
This
now.
is his home.
He's
Okay.
got a green card now. He's
Oh, okay.
he's here.
He's stuck with it.
He says y'all now?
I don't think he goes that far.
Coach, I did want to ask you really quick. The announcement came on Friday after a press conference last week about Ben Bender. A source at the club told my publication that the split was cordial. Can you just tell us a little more about, obviously you needed space to bring in reinforcements to defense, but can you tell us a little more about Ben and that exit?
Yeah, I mean, it was totally cordial. I'd had a couple. I've had 3, 4, maybe 5 conversations with Ben this season already, because we brought players in, and I'm seeing players ahead of him, and the game of football is about opinions, and I just saw people ahead of him, and he wasn't getting pitch time. He went out on loan last year because of his injury to get pitch time, and he didn't really get that. So, you know, I think what hasn't helped him was the injury he sustained before I come here, and I haven't seen much pitch time for him. You know, and at this stage of his career, he needs to go and play football. And, you know, unfortunately, we needed to free up a slot as well, and, you know, he happened to be that one.
Is there a possibility, you know, who else you're seeing who isn't getting the playing time, who might need to go on loan? Or,
No, at the moment, because
separate?
our squad is the squad. You know, what you see on the team sheet for Columbus is it. Because, you know, I think we've got 6 injured at the moment and one awaiting clearance to play.